7, aka Diz, and this is The Force Always.
Okay, so welcome to the show. Let's get on with it straight away. Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 is fastly approaching. It's about 26 days away. Why 26? Why not 25? I'm just going to give you an estimate at the moment. So around 26 days away to Star Wars Celebration. Two more news. Speaking of Star Wars Celebration, later on in the show, in the interview section, I'll give you a couple of questions with some answers. So stick around for that about Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. Two more news. The Star Wars panel, episode 9 has been announced, and they're calling it the episode 9 panel, so I'm sure we're going to get the title there and then in Chicago. It's going to be on the Friday, so it's going to be an absolute jam-packed second day event at the panel at Chicago, so get yourself there early. So I assume that the first day is going to be The Mandalorian. That's just an assumption. So the episode 9 panel has been announced. It's going to be on the Friday in Chicago. Star Wars episode 9 panel is fastly approaching. The title, the preview, the whatever, we're all excited for. To more news, Star Wars Celebration has announced more guests, and the big one, I think, of recent moments, let's say, not days, but is Forrest Whitaker. He was in Rogue One. Segura, I'm unsure how to pronounce his name, but he was a great inclusion. Very underrated character in Star Wars, if you ask me, but he was in Rogue One. Forrest Whitaker will be at Star Wars Celebration, I'm sure, for autographing and photo ops and things like that, so stay tuned for that on the Star Wars Celebration website. So that's pretty much the news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is not about how many views a YouTube channel gets, or it's not my predictions, it's just my story ideas in any parts of the Star Wars thing. It could be a trailer, it could be a teaser, it could be a poster, it could be the Star Wars saga itself. But this time around, I'm really heavily concentrating on episode 9. So the elements, the components to episode 9, what I'd like to see happen. And I think, let's look at Yoda. Yoda is the iconic Jedi Master, the little green guy. I think he should be a part of episode 9. He should have a small part, but a very important part. That's pretty much the idea that I have so far, but it's got to be very strong. It's got to be really connected to the conclusion of episode 9 and the whole saga itself, as they're sort of saying and stating that it's going to be about. So I think Yoda should have a very big moment but have small amount of screen time. That's in my opinion. Yoda is my favorite of all the characters, really. But yeah, so that's my views for this time around. Let's get into reviews. So my reviews at the moment it's about Star Wars the Celebration Chicago 2019. So far, how is it going? Look, it's on target. It's going good. They're really sort of building up the momentum for the episode 9 thing. That's great. The tickets haven't arrived. I've notified people from overseas. They haven't received their tickets. That's even Jedi Master ticket holders. No one has received their tickets. So let's just hope all the ticketing goes right, because so far that's a very low rating for my review. They should have put them out there well in advance, but they've just really held back for some reason. There could be a creative reason, I don't know, but the ticketing is yet to be sent out, because if you've actually pre-ordered your tickets, they should be shipped to you if you requested that. But if you get it on the day, let me tell you, get there early than early. So if you can get there early, add early on top of that as well, because you're going to have to line up for that, and line up for the line that's the panel, and line up for every single part of this event. You need to be prepared, let me tell you that. But anyway, so my review so far, with those couple of aspects about Star Wars Celebration, the including the guests so far, which the guests have been, I'd say about 75% pretty good. The rest is sort of like good, but not great. So I'd give it, I'm giving it about, a 7 out of 10 so far, Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019. They just need to get themselves a bit more organised in officiality. Obviously, the app is coming soon, and tickets hopefully come soon. But anyway, that's my review so far. 7 out of 10 so far for Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago, just in case you didn't know where it was. Anyway, so let's get now into the interviews. Interviews is too cute. There's 2 questions I asked myself for you guys out there. And as I'm really heavily concentrating on Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019, there we go again. And so the first question is, when should these tickets arrive? They should, if they are really organised at the last minute here, in the next week. That's what they should do. So let's just wish they are going to come in the next week. But, there's only weeks away now, so they should be coming to your mailbox in the next week. And believe me, when you get these tickets, you'll be in awe with the whole sort of presentation. They really do go the extra mile to make it look very nice. And so that's when the Star Wars Celebration tickets should arrive, in the next week. So look out in your mailbox. My next question is, okay, so another helpful hint for Star Wars Celebration. When you're lining up, lines are a part of this event. You've got to get your head around this. You're not going to line up for half an hour. You're not going to line up for an hour. You're going to line up not for hours. You're going to line up for tens of hours. So my suggestion is to get some sort of mat for the floor, even if it has to be a piece of cardboard, because the coldness of the floor into your body can cause you to feel very cold. In fact, I'll tell you a fun fact. When I was there in Orlando, I was actually on the concrete floor without being prepared with a piece of cardboard, and I started to shiver because it was that cold on the floor. In fact, Orlando is quite a warm state, but inside the air conditioning is pretty full on. It's quite cool in there, and I felt like I was going to have a cold, but I pushed on and I rocked it, and it was good. But you need some sort of mat. My suggestion one is I don't know what you call it in your area of the world, but like a gym type of mat you can roll up, put it in your backpack. It's got to be within the backpack. They have a real strict rules about within the backpack, but have some sort of soft mat for the floor, because you're going to need it for the tens of hours you will line up. That is a big essential item. Some sort of mat, even if it's a piece of, soft cardboard, not super flat cardboard, but something that has a little bit of space in between, because you're going to need it for that concrete. You will be lining up for a long time. Anyway, those are my 2 questions for interviews this time around. So in the weeks ahead, it's really coming close to Star Wars Celebration. If you have any questions, Instagram me, tweet me a question, send me a message through YouTube. Before, during, and after the event, I will be doing broadcasts on this channel, The Force Always, only on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you can, like, share the video, and I have some surprises during the event and that I'll have for this show that you will see. And look, hop over to Patreon if you can. It's up to you. / The Force Always. You can support financially this channel if you like. If not, I'm here on a weekly basis, giving you the Star Wars news, views, reviews, and interviews. And as I say every single time, until next time, keep rockin'.